What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to the greatest podcast in the world, Shooting the Shit Uncensored. And as always, you know who this is. This is the truth, the dad bod god, the bald, the beard, and that fucking beautiful Piers Austin. And tonight, we got something a little bit different for everybody. I've got two of my closest friends in wrestling that I'm bringing on here tonight. I've got one of my producers, Akell, and I've also got Vinnie here in the house, ladies and gentlemen. And tonight we're going to get into a lot of different types of topics. This is going to be a more open conversation. Feel free to throw your questions in the comments because we want to be interactive here. We want to know what's on your mind as well. We want to share some thoughts with you. But before we get into that, let's thank our sponsor for tonight's episode, and that is healthvape.com. Now, HealthVape is your healthy vaping alternative. All of their products are no nicotine, no addictive or harmful chemicals. They help restore your energy while giving you the vital boost you need to get through your day. So do yourself a favor and head over to healthvape.com. Use promo code MWAPOD to get a 10% discount on your final purchase. Well, without further ado, let's get into tonight's episode. I'm excited, and I hope you are all as well. So make sure you hit that like, share, subscribe, and make sure you send this link out to absolutely everyone, because tonight is going to be absolutely fucking wild. What's going on? What's going on? Welcome back to the greatest podcast in the world, Shooting the Shit Uncensored. This is the truth, and I'm joined by one of my favorite people in the entire world. And I know that I say that about every guest, but this time I actually mean it. And I'm not actually going to tell you which one of you it is, so you guys can fight about it later. But welcome back to the show, Vane and Akell. What's going on, boys?
Not too much, man. Just chilling on a lonely Tuesday night. What is it?
Tuesday night, bro.
Tuesday night.
You're skipping a couple of days there, bro.
Yeah, it's bad. The producer's off schedule.
The producer is off schedule, man. So we need to get
this whole show's going to turn to shit.
Hey, man, I've got faith in Akell, bro. He does great work for the producing this podcast, getting a lot of amazing clips and shit out there, bro. And yeah, I definitely can't fault him on the work that he does, bro.
Nah, he's good, bro. He's good.
Honestly, man, it's been an absolute blast, like working with you the past 3 or 4 months, just seeing different sides of wrestling. You know, getting some pretty cool stories. Whilst they might be a bit more controversial on that side, but I think everyone is entitled to a open forum and discussion. You know, especially on some of the harder topics. It gives a lot of people food for thought, and it opens it up. It just doesn't mean we silence everyone. It means we talk about absolutely everyone. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely, and that's kind of where I think it needs to sort of lead into and needs to go that way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, what was so for you, like just to get straight into it, right? Obviously, we've had like very in-depth discussions about this, but just for the viewers' sake, like what was like the moment where you flipped the switch and you were like, look, I need to be a bit more open. I need to be a bit more me. You know what I mean? Because there's no point in having a podcast without yourself, right? Like,
yeah, man. Well, the thing is, like, I love interviewing people and I love meeting new people and I love talking to different people and being able to talk to people with different experiences. And, you know, in doing that, you know, I learn a lot about, you know, certain like the podcasting thing is great. And I've interviewed a lot of amazing human beings. I love that. But also like I try and have my podcast, as you guys know, is more of a conversation. I don't really like to sit there with a list of like 50 fucking questions and sort of go off shit. I like to sort of have things where I can sort of like touch on and then lead in conversations. But like some people like just don't blend that well in a conversation, or they, like take Rob Van Dam, for example. Like I was ecstatic to have him on because I thought he would be the kind of guy how I could sit down and have a conversation with him and it would just be natural and flowing and stuff like that. And it was just really, you know what I mean? Like he just wanted to get asked questions and he'll answer what I ask him, you know what I mean? And that's where I was kind of like, oh, all right. You know what I mean? So then I had to try and do that on the switch. But for me, it's just like, I just think that, I put a lot of time and effort into this and, I'm trying to make this more successful and get myself more out there as well. But dude, it's just, listening to what people say and then just, reacting to it and responding to it. You know what I mean? Like not just answering a question going, okay, thanks for the answer. And then here's my next question.
Yeah, that's the most important kind of like, that's what people are naturally attracted to. And it's been shown throughout podcasts. Like you look at Joe Rogan, right? This guy has 47 million viewers, right? Monthly. The national news in America, all networks combined, have about 9 million. So that means he's effectively 5 times in the news. That's ridiculous. It's absurd.
It's insane, bro.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous. So
yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of the reasoning behind it, man.
Yeah. Well, what's been for you, Vinny, what's been going on in terms of wrestling with you at the moment? Like how you been doing it and all? How's everything going?
Yeah, everything's good. I haven't wrestled since August, where I wrestled Zuko at IWA, and now I'm back on another stint where I've got IWA this weekend and 2 back-to-back AWE shows, FWA and I think another IWA show, and then that's going to be it for the year. I'm gonna not doing anything in December. I need to take 2 months off for a personal matter. But I've just been getting ready for that next stint, so to speak, where you're working most weekends and just keeping in shape, keeping fit, trying to eat right, trying to stay in shape. That's really it, man. I'm boring. I don't really know what more's going on, to be completely fair, man.
But you know what? I'm gonna throw this out there, right, Akell, because it's like, I mean, like you would meet Vinny's wife, and she is like so much personality, and then there's Vinny who's just like, okay, let's, you know what I mean? Like I love Vinny. He's got personality, but his wife is definitely has a
she's the fun one. She's definitely the fun one, 100%.
But you 100%. Turn it up in the ring, man. You turn it up in the ring, man.
What you see on camera and on on a show is it's you turn it up, but I've said it before. I show you the fans what I want you to see. No one really knows the real me, to be completely fair. There's maybe 4 or 5 people in the world that know what I'm really like. Everything else is what I want you to see.
Yeah,
he's actually a prick.
Yeah.
Oh, never. I would use the C-bomb to describe me. If anything, I think that's a nicer way to put it. But yeah, sure, let's go with that.
See, that's the thing. I actually did a podcast, and I think it was with Mick Robson. He does the arena media, and he asked me
Robbo.
Robbo,
yeah,
big Robbo Robson. So he asked me word association, and it was Vinny Vane, and I was the first thing I said was misunderstood.
Yeah,
because I feel you are in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I look, I get that. I think especially after the last interview I'd sat down and did with you, I had a lot of questions off camera, a lot of messages about, I don't like that you said this, or I don't agree with that, and there's a lot of method to my madness. I just didn't go into it in depth with you. I know we were talking for close to 2 hours, but I don't think I got across what I was trying to say and where I was coming from. But yeah, misunderstood is probably the best way to put it, to be nice. Yeah.
But I think it came off fine though, right? I thought it came off fine. I didn't see any problem with it.
Me neither.
Some people would beg to differ.
You were such a critic of of that sort of stuff though.
Look, it's not that I think.
No,
please.
I feel you sometimes maybe have a little bit of remorse sometimes where you maybe you say things that are a bit more too bluntly. and then maybe you might sit there and like afterwards you sit there and maybe go, oh, maybe I shouldn't have said that. Like, am I wrong?
Yeah, look, no, you're not wrong. Look, I wear my heart on my sleeve, and like I have a horrible poker face. Like if I'm angry, you're gonna know about it. If I'm happy, you're gonna know about it. I say what I need to say when I need to say it, and I don't think about the repercussions. It's probably one of those things. I think the biggest thing that I wasn't happy with was a lot of people didn't like that I came across with this, like, I don't give a fuck attitude. And it's really not the case, because I do love pro wrestling. There's no doubt about it. I think I've proven that with the amount of effort I've put into my character and my marketing and the promos we've done, all that stuff. And like, even with training, I do it at my own pace and try to get better, but I've put that effort in. Could I say I'm a bit hypocritical? Absolutely. I am probably a massive hypocrite, but I didn't use the best words probably in that last interview. But I could tell you this honestly. I care about being good as a performer more than anyone would probably ever know. You would probably know, Piers, like, you know, given how much you work with me and how much like I am my own worst critic. But I can put it to you like this, right? I think I say some of the things I say because I felt or I feel rejected by pro wrestling sometimes. And I think I reject pro wrestling before it can reject me, if that makes any sense. It's a little bit deep, but I think
we are going deep on a Tuesday, bro.
We're probably too deep. But look, if you want the backstory with it, I think it's more because I feel like I wasn't shown much respect when I came into the business by like pretty much anyone on the scene. And like when people say, oh yeah, wrestling's for all, I'll be honest, I feel like pro wrestling's like high school. You got the popular kids and we're all just trying to get some recognition. And I never felt I got that despite what I believe to have some talent in this. But like, with that said, you know, my attitude as well can be good because I don't get fucked with, to be completely fair, by promoters or workers. You know, like I'm pretty of a straight shooter and people know where you stand. But then I get the biggest question, oh, but why do you still do it? And the answer is pretty simple. It's because why the fuck not? Like there's, you know, in life we're running the rat race, like work, home, baby, husband, you know, brother, friend, you know, like I don't golf or fish or sing or dance. So for now, this is what I do. I'm too old to get into mixed martial arts because I don't want to get my pretty face kicked in. So I do it just because it gives me something to do and keeps me like in shape, man. Like and it's something to look forward to with good people and good friends. Like, you know, even Akell, I don't want to blow smoke up your ass, but like, you know, we didn't always get off on the best patch. Like I know we've had a bit of a run in here and there, but like I have a lot of respect for you. I have a lot of time for you. You know, like, that's one of the good things with this. Like you can meet people from different walks of life. You can have disagreements if you're mature enough, you know, to have disagreements in 2023 100%. And still part ways and be like, let's just agree to disagree without, you know, getting completely butthurt about it because your opinion doesn't align to mine, you know. But yeah.
Well, I was gonna say, like, I have a lot of respect for you too, man. And the thing was, like, obviously our little, like, our thing was a bit more of a miscommunication. I mean, I think more than anything, like, we had a bit of a sort of an argument on certain things in terms of like, oh, was it ring crew or certain whatever issues it was before.
We can air it. I don't mind.
Sorry, before we get into it, like, I just want to address this comment real
Happy
quick.
birthday, Southie.
Hey,
happy birthday, Joel.
Shout out to Joel Southgate for you know, for his birthday today. Wishing you all the best, and yeah, man, happy birthday, much love from all of us. Yeah, but yeah, please, like Akell, like, because I know, like, I've spoken to both you guys about this thing, and I've like I feel like I've given, like, you guys have discussed it together at length, and like I've discussed it at length with both of you individually as well, and it really sounds like. You know what I mean? Like, I think it was like a different perspective.
Well, that you have to look at the backstory because they're like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
Well,
so, like,
I was in the gym, and then basically I was like, "Vinny, I got a bit of a problem with you," and then he like just came through the door with a giant kung fu kick to my head, and then we just never talked about it ever again. But
nah,
I don't know. Yeah, so we talked about so I mean, it was something to do with ring crew. But
yeah,
either way.
No, it's let's be completely honest. We're working for AWS. We're working for AWS. I was a ring-in. I was a replacement. I wasn't like I wasn't a first pick. So I negotiated my fee. I did say I had to come in like I had to be there at 6 and I had to leave by 7:30. If you want me, that's my terms, that's my fee. Take it or leave it. And they obviously took it. And then I'll be very honest with you, Akell. I had it's not an excuse, but I had a very bad day. Personally, like, you know, work, fucking life, death, taxes. And
Yeah.
I came in, like, as I said, I would have come in at 6. And I think you said something to me about ring crew. And I think I said, fuck you, I don't do ring crew. Like, I was being a dick. Like, I can look you in the face as a man and say, I was being an absolute fucking twat. Do you know what I mean?
It's pretty hilarious.
Yeah, it's
pretty hilarious.
Yeah, and then yeah, it's hilarious now. And like, I didn't know the backstory to the issues that you guys had on that day with the ring, and like it's just very it's not proper of me. Like, it was just like a dick thing to fucking say, or a dick thing to do. You know?
But the funniest way, like, I put it into perspective for him by, like, we went out for dinner one night after we shot a promo, and we were talking about it, and like, and I said, let me put this into perspective for you, right? So, like, everybody has an in-law that annoys them or frustrates them. You love them dearly, but they annoy you at times. That's what in-laws do, right? So I said to him, just imagine this. You're cooking up a fucking storm all fucking day, right? And then you're cooking this up for your in-laws and a big family thing, and in walks, like, say, a sister-in-law or a brother-in-law or someone like that, and they go, oh man, that smells like shit. You've been like, like, oh, they go, I'm not eating this shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's the kind of way that I kind of try to put that into perspective. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No, it was like, it was a cunty thing to fucking say. And for that, like, Akell, I apologize. I'm going to say something. I do stand by the reasoning when you and I had it out at the gym and all the things, and which we can get into that. But I stand by what I said to you about my reasoning and like that given circumstances. But I do apologize. Like, it wasn't proper of me. It wasn't gentlemanlike, and I do pride myself on being a gentleman. So for that, I apologize to you publicly. That wasn't cool.
Well, I also like. I'd also like to apologize as well, because
no, not needed, bro.
Fuck no, bro. This is like.
But the thing is as well is, like, you know, I guess in that time, I guess there was a lot of stress and frustration on my end, because we actually moved the training ring to the show, and then we couldn't fit the training ring in the venue. So then I had to go rent another truck, and then we got the new ring and drag that out. And then I went out to the casino, and then I came back at 4 a.m. Not drink driving. Don't drink drive, people. And drove it all the way back out to St. Mary's. Nah, I lost. Miserable.
I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding.
Oh,
I got I lost to Gibbs in 10 seconds that night too. So it was which is fine. It was 8 hours of it was like, maybe like 15 hours of work for like 10 seconds in the ring. But at the same time, it sort of made something out of that Fly Guy character, which is really cool.
Yeah, 100%.
But at the same time, like, that whole thing is like, I do sort of what you taught me, and what I took away from things is like, this thing that we do is fucking insane and grueling, and there's so much like work behind the scenes that has to even get the ring up. And that I do think there is in a situation, and I think AWS is, like, to me, AWS is the best company out there. But the thing is, I think the standards in pro wrestling need to be like lifted in a sense, especially for someone like you. You know, like you have a successful job, you have a successful life. I mean, I'm just a bum, but like,
no, don't say that.
But what I'm saying,
it's just different stages of life, bro.
I'm 35, brother. Yeah, I'm 35.
But what I'm saying is, you know your value, you know your worth. I'm sort of yet to figure that out, I guess, in a way.
And I think, look, let's be completely clear. Like, with ring crew, right? Like, IWA, I do ring crew. You know what I mean? AWE, I'll help. EWA, like, they've always paid like a crew for it, so I haven't had to do it. Like, with FWA, I have a deal with 5e, but like, the one point I wanted to get across for you, and like, people can disagree with this or not. Like, I get when you're starting out, you want to be there, you want to show you're bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, and you have the right attitude, and all that's great. And that's fine. If you have the time to give, that's fine. With me now, even when I negotiate with any promoter that books me, I'm just trying to get the best deal for myself. That's all. I'm just trying to get like the most money I can, wrestle. And like, you got to remember, the money you pay me, I don't look at it as that for ring crew. I look at it as that's money to take bumps and money for me to collectively with the rest of the roster help put bums on seats. That's my remuneration for that. obviously, like with promoters, like if they want me and say, hey, Nathan, like we need you to do ring crew, that's great. Like if I agree to it, I agree to it. I'll come and help. But if I'm like, I can't do it, and it's not that I don't do it because I don't want to do it. Like I do ring crew. Like, that's what kills me. I think there's a perception now that I don't do ring crew. That's bullshit. I do ring crew.
Yeah,
if I've
kill
like
that.
agreed with it and I'm going to do it, I'm going to fucking do it. I'm just saying if I can't for whatever reason, because I've got to pick up the kid or I've got somewhere else to be, or I've got to jump on a call at 10 o'clock at night on a Friday because America's fucking 13 hours behind, I'm not going to stand there and do ring crew when I've got something else where I need to be that I, to be completely fair, value a bit more important. But like I said, that's only because of my stage in life. Akell, I don't even know. I'm sorry. I don't even know how old you are, but like we're
26.
26. So I got close to 10 years on you. So like when I was 26, probably had a bit more time too, you know, but it's just like the lesson I wanted to get across from you is, if I value you and your time, why don't you value yourself and your time? That's all I was trying to get across. Did I communicate that in the best way, like in the conversation at the gym? Probably not. You know, like I said, I don't always come across. My intentions are probably misunderstood, but that's what I was trying to get across to you is like, know your worth, bro. You know what I mean? I'm not telling every wrestler out there, tell your fucking promoter to go fuck himself, you're not doing it. Of course you do it. But like, again, it comes down to a variety of things. Like I'm okay with not getting a booking. If someone's like, I'm not going to book you, then fuck it. I'm going to sit at home and eat donuts. I don't care. Everyone's different. Like,
I agree, man. And, you know, I had that recently happen with me where I was contacted to do a show and
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like what I sort of put forward was, you know, not in their budget. And I said, well, you know, what's your budget? And they came back with X. And, you know, they sort of put it like, well, this is what everyone else sort of charges who does commentary. And I went, okay, fair enough. I go use them. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I charge. Like, you know what I mean? Because also I look at, you know, who it is I'm going to work with and what I'm going to do and stuff like that. Because
exactly. What's the value exchange?
Like what, like, you know what I mean? Like, even if the monetary value might not be, you know, extraordinary high or whatever it may be, I would look at the other things where it would be like who I'm working with. Is it going to be someone that I want to work with? Is it someone that excites me? Is it like a long-term thing that could lead to from this?
Of course.
You know what I mean? So like, then I go, okay, well, yeah, that seems like a reasonable thing I could look at. But, you know, like I said, this thing, and there was no disrespect from them or me. I said, I wish you the best of luck with your show. I hope it's a massive success. You know, hopefully we can work together in the future. And, you know, I'm not putting out there who it is and shit, because it's like, it doesn't need that.
No, you don't need to say it. It's just a concept.
Business, and that's it. You know what I mean?
Well, that's the hard part. Sorry.
No, please.
Well, I was saying, that's the hard part is like realizing, especially in the journey of pro wrestling. Obviously, you started in pro wrestling, but you've branched out to combat sports now. But the hard part is sort of realizing that even like the best opportunities in pro wrestling are like monetarily worse than like the lowest opportunities in MMA. So like, how the hell do we get that standard up in pro wrestling to the point where it's less of a carnival act and it's more of a show?
This is the point I want to make, is that we keep calling it a business, and the truth is it's not a business. When you can't, the way we operate, it's a vanity project, like no pun intended. But like, if this is a business, right? And Akell, Piers, you guys are, you know, human resources, so to speak. When you go for a job, the business offers something. Do you know what I mean? Now it's up to you whether you accept that or not. Like, if I go for a job and I'm like, I don't like what they're offering, I don't apply. Even if we're negotiating and we haven't got there yet, you put forward what you want. They'll say, okay, what's your salary expectations? What's your working expectations? Like, do you want to work from the office? You want to work from home? Do you expect a phone, a car, a credit line? Like, all these things come into play. This is where I get a bit offside with people, where it's like, oh, it's the wrestling business. It's not the wrestling business here. It's a fucking vanity project that's led by a few predominant gatekeepers that own the scene. Like, because even the I'm not naming feds. I'm not giving anyone a rub. Fuck that. But like, the companies that even run like the most successful feds in the country, like, we know for a fact that everyone that helps isn't getting paid. You know what I mean? So like, is it really a business then? You know, it's not.
Well, essentially, then it becomes kind of like a charity. Not, I don't want to say charity, but more of like a
It's a hobby. It's a hobby.
No, I'm trying to find the correct term. It becomes a volunteer project.
Yeah, not for profit.
But why aren't we striving to make it something that's profitable? I mean, the problem is a lot of people, like, they come out and they start their own Fed, and there's a lot of Feds that, like, you know, people are just held back because they're not in the clique or they're held back by politics. It's like the same thing with Kingdom, right? Like for me with Kingdom, right? Like I love Kingdom, but the fact that Barry the Sweeper Blake isn't the champion right now is killing me. Do you know what I mean?
Bro, Barry,
he's a genuine talent.
Barry.
Bro, you know what? I met him for the first time when we went down and did Kingdom. Lovely guy. Like he's very nice.
He's all right. He's a good dude.
He's a good dude. He's over, man. There's a guy in the locker room, like, so we came out of the locker room and the guy hung around the whole night. And he's just yelling, "Bring out the swooper!" And I was like,
geez.
"Yeah, he's over. He's over.
He's
over. He's over massively.
He's over."
Now, I think like what we're saying is like I think the point is like with all these things, like it's if you're gonna make money, then it needs to be handed back down the line, right? Now, if it's a volunteer project, that's fine. But like, there's been so many people who have volunteered their time in wrestling and still do, and they get nowhere. At what point do you say, like, I'm being taken advantage of? Like, if you're constantly going to go to a school and pay, and you're paying and you're paying and you're paying, and you're not being used on a show or you're not getting bookings, you have to ask, is it me? Is it the trainer? Or is it politics? Do you know what I mean?
Well, I think that's where you got, like, if you're there for years on end and you're still not wrestling on shows, like, and you're seeing people progress in front of you, then like clearly there's got to be a conversation from like the coaches to say, hey, listen, man.
But as if the coaches are going to do that, like they're giving you money.
Like someone can say, listen, you're not really getting this. If this is just a hobby for you to come and train here, cool, but just know that your skill level hasn't progressed where it should be in this time frame. You know what I'm saying? Like, at least have that real conversation with people. And I've heard that like that they're like, I think Hunter has had that conversation with people. I don't want to quote.
He's one of the few genuine like people in the business. Like, I don't know him like that well, but from what I've heard of him and what he does for a living, like he's got a good heart. You know what I mean? Like he's not out to take anyone for a ride. You know, like, and that's a rarity where, like, at the end of the day, this is when people start acting like a business where it's a cash grab, but it's not really a business. Like, you just got to look at the way the whole setup is and the way everything is. Like, and the thing is as well with wrestling shows, like they need investors, they need investment. You know, like at the end of the day, like, I know some people will probably argue, but I know some people, like they book, they work, and they need that $50 or $30 or $100. Like that's their rent, make or break for the week. Look, like I'm fortunate enough where I've never done this for the money. Like the money, like I've said it before, the money barely covers the haircut, the tan, and the feet afterwards. You know, I do it for fun, but I don't like it when people like they treat it like oh, you know, no, they treat it, but it's like, oh, this is a business, and they act all high and mighty like they have some idea about business. When, believe me, like, no arrogance now, but like you wouldn't know fucking business if it jumped up and smacked you in the face. Like, let's be real.
Yeah, for real.
And then you're taking the piss and you're taking advantage of people who you expect, like, you know, this isn't a particular Fed. This is just the scene in general. Like, you all expect people to, oh, you got to come and help, and you got to do this and you got to do that, and you know, you're going to wrestle, and you're going to, you know, you got to do all these promos. All that investment and time you put into it, that's like time that someone could be using for other things to advance in other ways. Now, if you love it, do it, go for it. I just think some people get to a certain stage where I'm probably in that grumpy old man boat where it's like, make it worth my while. Like Piers was saying, if I'm going to work with someone good, or if there's a value exchange there, that's when it can be beneficial. You know, like I don't, like sometimes it's not the money. If I know I'm going to work a great opponent, I'll work for free if I want to, like, because I know I'm going to get a good match out of it. You know, like there's something that I'm going to enjoy out of it. But then all these people start complaining about, oh, you know, I'm not treated right, I'm not paid right. It's just, it's a mess, man. Like pro wrestling is just an absolute mess.
But that's 100%. The thing, dude, like the people are saying like they're not paid right, but look at what are the promotions making? Like, let's be real, bro. Let's say for like a standard promotion selling tickets, what do they sell tickets for? $20 a ticket?
Yeah, $20, $30.
$20,
right.
okay.
All right, so let's go. All right, And how many people would they draw?
Oh, who are we talking about? Like,
Just, I don't know,
give
like
us an example.
Look,
show.
the average is probably sadly the average is probably like 80, 90. Like if you look at everything, like on every show, if you look at including
so
losses,
like 20 times 90, that's $1,800. So you have a roster of, let's say, 5 matches, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 wrestlers. That's $180 a wrestler if you don't take into consideration like ring rental, getting the ring there, venue rental. So your wrestlers would probably be making something more like $30.
Yeah, it's not a business. It's not a business. It's a project. And like what you were saying before. Oh, sorry.
No, can I just say one point? I just want to say one thing, right? And please, I don't mean to cut you off. Where do these guys then, like, and girls, get off? Where, like, you know how everyone, like, I'm not naming names. It's not. I'm coming. Please understand, everyone. I'm coming from a place of like a good spirited debate. Yeah. Where do some of these performers get off that might have a little bit of like they're that cut above the rest here in the country, right? Whether they've been overseas, maybe they've done a bigger promotion overseas. But how do these guys then say, I love the business and I want to put Australian wrestling on the map and I want to do this and I want to do that. But hey, FWA or, EWE, All-Star EWA, whatever it is, pay me $500 for my match. And I'm not going to do anything else. I'm just going to come do my match. I'm not going to help anyone. I might help. I might give some advice, but to my friends, of course. And then you're going to pay me $500. When to Piers' point, we only made $1,800. So that one person is making $500. But then they want to say, I'm here to help Australian wrestling. Fucking how? How the fuck are you helping Australian wrestling? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, just say, I'm a businessman. I want to be paid for my time. And this is what I charge. Then I'd have more respect for you. Honest truth.
Yeah. In that scenario, it's like, you're not exactly like, obviously there's circumstances where if they're going overseas and they're getting the name out there, then maybe they are helping and they've got allegiance to one company. But, when they're back here doing other shows, it's very
But then do they sell $500 worth of tickets?
No, never.
That's always my question. If I'm going to invest $500 in an athlete, like in a wrestler to perform, he needs to, or she, if you cost me $500, you need to generate me $750 worth of revenue. So I'm getting my $500 back and I'm making $250 on top of you. That's business. That's how it works. No, I'm going to pay you $500 because let's be real. Like, this isn't a disrespect to anyone, but no one in Aussie wrestling is really a draw. Especially how much we like bastardize ourselves out and work everywhere and are so accessible. Like there's no one. No. That's not a dig. That's just like if you're wrestling Friday at one fed in Sydney and then Saturday at another fed in Sydney or the next week, like eventually the novelty wears off. But you're like, therefore the customer isn't going to go Friday night and spend their $20 there and Saturday night their $20 there, but you're still charging $500 both nights. Like, do you see how this isn't going to help Australian wrestling? Like, if anything, the attendance is going to drop more and more because it's like you're still charging your fee despite the demand not being there.
I had a conversation with Jason Helton and we were talking about how if someone is a champion of a promotion, that they shouldn't go and work another promotion unless it's in the main event and they're going over. For the simple fact is, it's like, the company's invested in you as being their champion. But then if you look at it, like if you were EWA champion, right, Vinny, and this is no disrespect to EWA. I love those guys. I think they're fucking phenomenal. But like they run shows every 3 to 4 months. That would mean you wouldn't wrestle for nearly half a year.
100%. So 100%. But to your point, I agree with you, but I've done the opposite. I've been champion and gone and wrestled elsewhere and put someone over. Do you know what I mean? Like despite
put my boy over.
But see, that's where we should, I think, like not stood our ground more, but like we should have, like, because I was with you that night and
you said grab your bag and let's fucking go. Probably should have listened to you.
Bro, like I could smell the bullshit on the wall. You know what I mean? Like, and you see that same fed then when we like that EWA ran a show, they're trying to go fucking like head to head with them and shit like that. Like,
Look,
The
it doesn't matter.
pettiness.
Look, at the end of the
I
day,
can sit here and
I'll
talk
clear
shit about those
away here.
fuckers
Like,
all
no,
day.
let's not do that. Let's be positive. Like, at the end of the day, Osama, the Booker at EWA,
Great dude.
there wasn't a grand plan for me to be EWA champion. It kind of,
No.
I was told like the day of, like, we're going with you tonight, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I'm not even in the championship fucking picture, but whatever. I had other bookings. He was like, look, I only ask that if you go elsewhere, just like protect our brand, which is, it's not an unreasonable call. And I think,
I don't think so.
for promoters to get along and do business together properly, like even I think Ryan was there that night, and Ryan was like, yeah, like, it's not necessarily how you do business, like we got to take care of him, or at least make it like, like a dusty finish. Like, if you protect their brand, then when you're one of your champions or something goes and works there, they're going to do the honor and return the favor. It's just, it's good. Essentially, it's good manners. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just basic manners. Like, I know everyone knows it's scripted and a storyline, but we're trying to keep
course,
pace. Like, you don't want to. Why would you go and bury another company's champion? Like, you can catch more flies with honey than you can with manure. You know what I mean? Like, work together. It opens up more opportunities. Like, again, it's all these people that say, I want to make Australian wrestling great, but then they do something like that's completely opposite and has a derogatory effect on that. Like, it's just stupid.
But that's the pettiness of it, man. We're fighting over the same 100 people. Like, you know what I mean? It's
fighting
ridiculous.
over crumbs. Yeah.
But everyone, we're all fishing from the same pond. Essentially, is like every promoter is doing that, and I feel like, for the most part, I think if promoters did more shows working together, put their funds together, and can kind of, put the egos aside. And this is a very ego-run business, you know what I mean? And people could sit there and go, oh, I don't have an ego and stuff like that. But when you're trying to work with another promoter and they're trying to push their agenda, which isn't the same as your agenda, that's when we're going to starting to see more of a, things blow up. And that's kind of what we saw like a few months ago when there was two feds here in Sydney that were going to work together. It was like, okay, cool. Like, let's see what these guys are going to do. They're going to do 2 shows, and then it'd end up.
Who was that?
There's FWA and All-Star, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Oh yeah, fuck. How did I not know that?
Then that fucking blew up, and you know what I mean. Like, that's kind of like you know what I mean? Like, I don't, like I said,
there's a lot of backstory there because these people aren't businessmen, and you know what I mean? Well, to be honest, I think Mitch, and I know, like, obviously there's differences there, but I think Mitch maybe might be a slight better businessman than Fivey in terms of that. Like, but I think Fivey's like a very genuine person and everything else. But, like, at the end of the day, like, obviously financial disputes, everything else, it is what it is. Like, it happens, and these people don't really grasp the concept of probably how much things are going to cost, and it is what it is.
I tell you what, anyone in the live chat, just throwing it out there, you want to ask a question, throw a super sticker or a super chat up in the chat with your question, and we will get to it, just so we make sure that we get to see it. So feel free, guys.
This pettiness is like, terrible for us. It's toxic. It's fucking, doesn't make anyone look good. How many people have started a Fed and made themselves champion and made themselves the top fucking thing of their thing? Like, it's everyone. Like, I don't want to hate on anyone because everyone thinks they're the best. They've got their own ego problem. Like it is what it is. Like, there's people.
But Akell, I can get why some promoters put the belt on them because there's may not be any other option, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they may sit there and go, oh, well, this guy's hurt, or like, this other person isn't available for the next 2 shows. You know what I mean? Like, there's always, you know what I mean? Like, they can't just put a belt on and just go, all right, well, fuck. There's, fuck. All right. Yeah. Come on. Yeah. We'll give you a run. You know what I mean? Like, they've got to try and have some sort of, thing to it. You know what I mean? So I think
it's deserved sometimes.
I'm saying, if you're the owner of the company and you are over, and there is no other option, sometimes you have to do that, bro.
Yeah, look,
please go.
Oh, sorry. I was saying, like, with, like, obviously, like me and Tyson Gibbs have a big helping hand in Tyson Gibbs mainly in AWS, and him, like him with the belt makes a lot of sense to me. Like, it makes a lot of sense to me. But then there's other cases where it's something different. But I don't know. What were you saying?
No, I was just saying that I think the problem is we have too many people in business related roles that don't have the business acumen or experience to really back it up. Again, solidifying my point that this isn't a business. Like we have people that I'm going to start my own Fed. Good for you. But like you don't have any idea how to run a business. Like people think they know how to book and wrestle. That's
100%.
one thing. But do you know how to run a business? Do you know how to turn $1 into $2? That's where I think we're
that's
lacking.
The thing. The booking and the show aspect, that's the fucking fun. That's the creating.
Business is the hard.
The stuff about the marketing, paying the venues, fucking, you know what I mean? Like actually liaising and stuff like that. That's the fucking, not the shit that ain't so fucking fun.
100%. 100%. And that's probably why we can't break into the mainstream, because like anyone that's going to invest in these things are going to say, okay, like let's look at your back end. Let's see how you run things. Let's see what the overheads are. Let's see what things cost. Like it's very, like, it's not an easy thing. And like not everyone can run a business. It's pretty shit. Like it's just like you got to. Sorry, I was distracted by that ridiculous fucking comment. Hang on, wait. Go fuck yourself from me to you.
I missed it. Put it up again.
No, fuck him.
From hairline or something.
Him, her, whatever. Fuck your mother. I don't care. Anyway, what I was saying was, I think what most, like, where we, like, again, we're just talking about business, and I think it's just lacking. And that's not a dig at anybody. That's just, I think we need more like education around that. Like before people go out and start a Fed, do you know how to run a business? Because I've dealt with many promoters over the years, and they don't, like when you talk to them, like you look at what they're spending on things, you look at what things cost, and you look at the people in the crowd, and you're like, there's no way we're making money. You know what I mean? Like this guy is going to be in the red. And then that when they come to you and say, okay, can I get my money now, please? And then it's like, oh, sorry, can I pay you next week or the week after or the week, and 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, it's pretty bad. Like that's the problem with a project like this. Like to Piers' point before, it's volunteer. You volunteer, you do it at your own risk, your own accord, and don't expect anything in return. Like I think if you go in with that mindset, you'd be better. You'd feel better about it overall.
But that's what wrestling has always been, and that's where like all wrestling sort of, and you go back and listen to old school trainers, they always tell people is like wrestling doesn't owe you a fucking thing. It's like,
yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? Like you choosing to get into it, and you know what I mean? Like, like for me, I still love wrestling. Like I still love it, but for me, it's got to be like, it still has to, like, you know what I mean? I still want to have fun with it. And certain things, it's like if I'm doing shows and I'm like going, okay, well, I'm going to get to work with Vinny. There's going to be like X person wide, blah, 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 is going to be on the show. Okay, cool. Like, I know it's going to be a fun show. We're going to go out afterwards. We're going to eat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's good.
If there's one thing that I think is very important about the way, Akell, what is your go-to pre-match song? My go-to pre-match song, Prima Donna Girl, probably. I like that song. But anyway, what was I saying? If there's one thing that I do find is like, if we stop the ego stuff and we stop selling it as we are draws and putting ourselves on posters that don't even look like wrestling posters, then we can sell the fact that pro wrestling is an alternative form of entertainment, much like live music, but something different. And that's what AWS is doing very well right now. And that's what I'm saying, a minor success in that. And I think like Rock and Roll nail it as well. I think a lot of other companies can nail it, and they're close to nailing it. So that's my opinion. But
even AWE, Sammy Russo, like he
nails it too.
He fucking gets 300 people there. You know what I mean?
Dude,
that was incredible.
Show I worked for him was 400 sold out. They were turning people away at the door, and there was no one on that show that like there was no big name, no international. Like I was like, good on him. I'm great. I'm happy to perform in front of a sellout crowd. But I was like, you're shocked. Like, do you know what I mean? So, but it's so hit and miss. Like where he can do 400 people, and then you can have like another Fed, like a PWA, who are also doing 400 people, one night. And it's like, well, like they're different customers, like, different markets. I get that, but it's amazing. But then you have other shows that barely draw 30. Like the last FWA show I worked was probably 50 people in the crowd, and you're like, I don't get it.
Yeah,
And like the
but
roster on that show was so much stronger than the
but
AWE roster.
to be fair, like most wrestling fans were down at Impact Wrestling on that show. You know what I mean? Like Wagga was running that
But
same.
did that
week.
even draw? Really? Like, did that, from what I've heard, was that really like, did that draw the numbers?
Saturday?
Like, was that a sellout? Yeah, I don't know. I'm asking.
Yeah, like pretty much like floor seats were sold out. Like the stands I couldn't really see into because the lights were shining down there. But like my wife said, there was a lot of like people up in the stands. She was there. They would, I think they probably would have had like maybe 550, maybe probably 6, 7, maybe. I don't know.
Okay, let me ask you this there. Like that's pretty good, but that you got to remember that's an international product, and that would have drawn people from all over Australia, much like the Perth thing is going to do. I think WWE coming to Perth. I think. Am I correct in saying that? Yeah, that's going to draw
80,000.
Like 80,000
pre-interest for tickets.
That's awesome. That's really, really good. That's great for the sport. But like when you look at Sydney and like one show can do 400 and then the next week, like, you know, they can't do half that, or another company can't only do 40 or 30. Like those companies that can't match that. You've got to ask the question, like, what are you doing wrong? And I think someone wrote it down earlier. Like it is a marketing problem. Like no one here has a marketing plan. Let's be real. You know, you're trying to throw something at a wall and hope it sticks in most cases.
I counted, there was a date not long ago, August 19th, where there was about 6 people running shows. And just out of curiosity, I counted and I was like, how many people actually attended those shows combined? And it was about 1,500. Now that's off the back of 16, like maybe like 6 different people's marketing efforts. But at the end of the day, imagine if there was just one.
But what's the marketing effort? Like, honestly, like you're talking to someone in marketing, like what's the marketing effort? Oh, I did a poster and I put a few Facebook posts out and I might have, you know, boosted my Facebook ad. Like that's not marketing. Like there's a lot more that everyone could be doing too. Cause like we're like you said before, we're marketing to the same, you know, 400 people, you know, every show. Like how do you break that mold and how do you break into mainstream? How do you get, Mummy Karen with little Johnny, who's 7 years old and loves watching WWE on Foxtel or whatever, to be like, oh, Johnny loves that. I'm going to take him to that show. Do you know what I mean? Like, how do we, that's the question we need to be asking. Like, we can market to the wrestling fans all day. They're going to keep coming back. We're showing that. But how do we break into mainstream? That's the question. How do we make people give a fuck about the Aussie talent here?
And that's what I think about the podcast too. How do we break into the mainstream? But we're doing well. We've grown.
I mean, like we have grown because the simple fact is, like we've had more real conversations. I feel like in the last few months, bro. And to be honest, I feel like I've dived more deeper into asking harder questions and not really. I don't want to say not giving a fuck, because I do give a fuck. I give a fuck very much about this. But I feel like just putting more of myself into what I'm asking. You know what I mean? Like I feel like that's been, you know, a beneficial stage for that. And I feel like one thing that's missing in Australian wrestling for the most part is realism in storyline. And it's like there's so many like, but there is.
Sure.
But you know what I mean? Like, but there is like gimmicks and stuff like that, storytelling. Like, there's not really, you know what I mean? Like, we look at marketing, we look at stuff, but like, what's going on in society, in the world, that we can use in storylines to potentially draw people in more. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think our worst problem is more so like with I don't know. I think the bigger problem is like putting posters up around regular like streets where people just look past it and just going to tape over it the next day. Like, how is that? Sometimes that works, but like, you know, the marketing plan's awful. Like, we could have storylines, but we need to get people to the shows. The fact is, nobody knows about it. Nobody knows. And people promote on their own Facebooks with their own following that's already their following, but don't attempt to grow that following massively either. That's the issue, not looking outwards. You know what I mean?
But how would they then go and do that, bro?
Well, they look outwards. They keep...
That's the million-dollar question.
They pay for some stuff.
Like,
you got to pay, man. Pay to play.
Like, I've done, like, personally as a performer, I've done so many magazines, so many newspaper articles, different podcasts. Like, this is where it's where I get fucking really pissed off because it's not just about what you can do in the ring that makes you a good performer. Like all these other things count to your overall score, in my opinion. Like,
Yeah.
are they marketable? Can they talk? Do they go and, everyone's so fixated on, I don't mean to poke a bear and be a smartass, but everyone's so fixated on, oh, do they help with ring crew? Oh, are they a yes man? Like, are they in the click? But what are they actually doing to draw eyes on this? Do you know what I mean? Like, because like I can market to wrestling fans all day, but I try and go outside that mold and market to mainstream media so I can get a new perspective, a new set of eyes on me, and therefore who I work for and what I do. I think that is the key.
Yeah, 100%. I mean,
you need to. Your personal brand is everything. Like,
yeah, man,
everything. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Sensational J94 says the majority of Australian wrestlers are too soft to do realistic storylines, especially in New South Wales. Far too many pretenders that just want to do cool moves and mark out for themselves.
I don't know who that is, but he's actually right. Like he's not wrong.
That's the guy. That's Crossfire.
Yeah, it? Johnny Crossfire, I think. Yeah, that is Sensational Johnny Crossfire. I mean, is he wrong?
There's too many stupid gimmicks, man. Like fucking flyers and shit. What the fuck are we doing?
That fucking fly guy.
I fucking hate that prick.
No. I think it's more like it's not a matter of there's not realistic stories. I will be honest with you here. I think most promoters just throw matches together like they're a UFC matchmaker. Like they're only worried about that main event storyline. Where I think a good promoter should be able to tell a story across an entire card from show to show. I'm not saying everything needs to be like, obviously you're going to have a match to build into something, but I think most promoters, just throw a match together. Oh, that's going to be, match 2, but there's no meaning behind it. So it doesn't mean anything down the track. That's where the problem is. So how can we create realistic storylines when we're just working whoever for the sake of whatever? Like,
because
it's up to them
I feel like if you're like running a promotion, you like, I don't know, man, like in the age of social media and everything, like if you're not trying to put out regular content on social media to hype up the next show, like having your workers send promos to you and stuff like that, like, you know what I mean? Like there's so many things that you can do to put out, right?
On that, I get over the like I'll have like a promoter say to me, like, oh, can you do a promo? And it's like, no, I'm not going to do a promo where I'm just talking to camera and saying, like this Saturday at X show, I'm going to beat you up and I'm the bad guy and suck it and lick it and blah. Like, I'm not doing that. Like, I like my style of promo now is like you and I do, Piers, where it's like, it's backstage or, in context where we're not talking to camera. I don't mind the odd interview style promo, but I like to do something that's going to tell a story. And it doesn't have to be just about that one individual show. Like the promos we do, we talk about, or we've taken that agent talent dynamic and turned it into like, that's our gimmick, is like that real life star. You know what I mean? Like, and all the behind the scenes trials and tribulations that star and manager have. That is, I think, a much more engaging promo. Like, and I'll challenge anyone that's watching this. Like, compare the promo Piers and I will do, where we're telling a story that's kind of like behind the scenes, in comparison to someone that's like, yeah, this Saturday I'm gonna do this, this, and this, and I'm this. What's more engaging? What's more interesting visually? Like, what's got a narrative? You know what I mean? Like, I can assure you, 10 out of 10 times my promo smokes yours. Like, that's fact. Like, there are a few people that can do it, but like if they're on like the WWE level or something, of course that's different. They've got that WWE brand behind them. But for guys working the indies here, it's not gonna work. Like, no one's gonna watch it and be like, oh yeah, that's great. Like, no. Like, you can get the same result and convey the same message by sharing your match graphic, probably more.
Yeah, exactly. And another thing is like, I think where people struggle to realize is if we're actually successfully trying to market outbound, then we need to sort of make more effort to tell the story on the night, because maybe not everyone's going to see your promo, or maybe not everyone's going to see the thing. And I don't think we have the capabilities or production capabilities to do that. A lot of feds
not
don't.
True. A lot of feds don't. I don't, because I wanted to pull you up on that respectfully, because like I know that at EWA, with I can't remember what it was called. We had the Rumble show. It was a Rumble. and we filmed like they got us there and we filmed that scene
That
in
was
the
the
parking
best.
lot.
That was
Yeah,
the
and then we did
best.
that, and then they had me and Scotty do like a vignette where it was like how this match came to be. Then when Sonic wrestled Gibbs, they did that whole build up where they had like 3 shows worth of content and they built a really good video package. So the casual fan that came to that show, they played that before each match, and at least the casual fans could be like, okay, I get that Vinnie Vane's the champion, he's a bit of a dick, and Scotty Paulo's, the warrior, and he's, fighting for his people and all that jazz. And it was like, at least the casual fan could be like, I am semi-invested in this. I get it. And before I even walk out the curtain, they know I'm a dipshit. Boo him. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's little things like that like separate the boys from the men, so to speak.
So the outlaw
Thank you,
has
Outlaw. Thank
outlaw
you,
has
brother.
just sent in $1 and wants to know thoughts on the family.
Okay, I got this one. Hold
Hold on a sec. But before you answer
What
this,
that means.
I don't know, like, whose family is he talking about? My family?
No.
Family? Like, whose family are we talking about? I don't know what family are we talking here.
So the Outlaw's got this little character, like it's like a family, like sort of faction, and they look hectic. They're just mad. I like them. I hope, like, if Kane with more training and stuff and more staff, get in the ring and sort of express those ideas, I reckon you can go some way, man.
Well, who is he? Or
he's
she?
got so they've got the gimmick, but they don't have the training.
Mm-hmm. No, they've like Outlaws like train a little bit with AWF and different things like that.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, like, he's needs to get back there and come in and sort of and live it through the dream, because I really like it.
Good luck to you, man. All the
and
best.
always
Akell
Outlaw's been a super massive helpful guy as well, in terms of like came to EWA, did ring crew, came to like always helping out AWF for years. So at the end of the day, I'll fucking always put over the Outlaw.
Oh, there you go, man. And but you know what? Like, one thing, and this is something that I was talking with, to Todd Eastman about, which is going to be dropping on Thursday night. That I recorded last night. Is it's interesting, and we're talking about a certain promotion, but like wrestling as well. Like, there's a lot of people, and I've said this multiple times, so people are going to say I'm being redundant here, but I'm going to say it again. Is like, in wrestling, they're like, from the fans to even some of the workers, there's a lot of mental disability that we see. And I want to get your, like, what do you guys think? Do you see people?
That's a tough,
like, I don't want to say promoters, coaches, whoever, or people putting on shows, whatever it may be, kind of exploiting certain people like that? Because like, there was a Fed in Melbourne that sort of, did this whole thing where they put out 30, like they got 13 grand in donations to set up their school. And then the school, like, all their venue, it didn't go ahead. But then they're like, well, people like, well, where's the fucking 13 grand? They started paying people back, like, because like shit blew up on social media. But do you think that there are like places here in Australia that sort of prey on the weaker, not weaker, but the mentally disabled?
It's pretty fucking disgusting.
It is.
Yeah.
I really don't want to think anyone's actually like that. I really don't want to believe that, to be fair. I really pray to God that's not the case. I think, Piers, we've had the conversation before. Like, number one, irrelevant of pro wrestling, any business, industry, I work a corporate role, and mental health is massive, because everybody, I don't want to sound like Miss Congeniality World Peace, but like, there's a saying, always be nice to someone, because you never know what battles they're facing. Now, I haven't always done that, but it's not a bad like motto to try and live by. So mental health in general in 2023 is a major issue. But again, I think, Piers, we've had the conversation before where pro wrestling has, given it's a very cheap form of entertainment, it attracts in some instances, a lower socioeconomic class of people. That's not a dig. That's just fact. Now, with that comes a higher, a greater propensity for people with alcohol problems and drug abuse, and that can induce mental problems. We were saying before, like a sport like polo, I say polo, or, it attracts a certain socioeconomic person who have money behind them, which therefore
Of
attracts
course, yeah.
sponsors and businesses that are willing to invest. And you have less of, not to say mental health doesn't exist there too, but a different class of people. I think given that wrestling is a cheap form of entertainment, we are going to attract a certain caliber of people. And that's not being rude. Like we can, like, let's be honest, like you go to
Not
shows and you have a
necessarily
few.
But
It's
not
not even-
necessarily everybody. I mean, look at Tony fucking
No, not
Khan.
everybody. No. But we're talking at the grassroots level here, yeah. Like you know, it does. But like, there's a lot of you meet some, like, even when you go out and meet some fans, like you can meet some fans after a show, and you know that some of them, you know, they're mentally challenged, or that, you know, there's an issue there, and that's every show I go to, and that's not a dig. That's just a trend. There's nothing wrong with them. They're beautiful people. They've got beautiful hearts, beautiful souls. They're just, you know, you can tell that there's a high, like for some reason, wrestling kind of attracts that higher, like there's just a lot more people with mental problems you notice in on the scene.
But that's not everyone, and that's not every fan either. Like,
I'm not saying that. I didn't say that at all.
No. I know you did, but I'm just sort of reiterating that as like, and putting that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just reiterating it. That's all.
Yeah, no, that's fine. So I just want to be clear. That's not what I'm saying. But I think, to your point, it's mental health does run rampant. And I just kind of feel that I've played plenty of sports, but I feel that in pro wrestling, I kind of see more mental issues in pro wrestling than I have in MMA or rugby league or karting or anything else I've dabbled in. I don't see the same. It's like 140, 30, you know, like it's really high. I don't know why. I don't know if it's because of what, you know, I don't know. Please comment.
Well, there's a lot of like studies into like autistic people and their love of professional wrestling, and not just autism, like other you know, other certain cases. And I think it's because there's something like attractive about the combat and the noises and the way and the characters and the performances and everything else. And that's a beautiful thing that those people have.
It draws people in. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
But does MMA do that, Piers, with your involvement? Like, I haven't been around MMA in years, but like with what you see, do you see the same caliber of people at MMA that you do at pro wrestling, or is there a big different divide there?
I think that there's, to be honest, I think there's probably similarities to a certain extent. But I think for the most part, you can see a divide, because like, you got to think, if people are coming in there, they're buying tables, that's $2,000 a table, or X amount,
right.
5,000.
So to my point, a different like a different socioeconomic class, so to speak. In MMA.
Yeah, like, but the people going to that, like, I don't know, like they look very similar to wrestling fans as well sometimes. So like, it's a mix, bro. It really is. It's a huge mix.
Just be nice to everyone. That's it. That's the bottom line. Be nice and don't take the piss out of anybody. It's really that simple, guys.
Yeah. Like, honestly, there's like a lot of people, you know, like it's wrestling is so important to, especially that we are so understanding about about certain people with you know, whatever mental disability they have, because you know, they really do look up to us. I don't know how many times you've gotten like DMs from like fans and everything else, but if you can make their day, like that's one of the most amazing reasons why I do it. So
yeah.
Sorry,
look, I'm going to be honest.
Can you just help me understand this comment? Like, I nailed someone with a disability fairly in a 50-50. And I don't know what a 50. I don't understand what the fuck that means.
An even scrap, but I could be wrong.
Get that off the fucking screen.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm not going down that rabbit hole.
Look, to your point, Akell, you like talking to the fans. You like spending time out there. Like, I'm going to be honest. I not that I don't, but like, I just want to pack my bag and go home most of the time. But you know, it is part of the game where you like make the effort. You know, I do try and make an effort to go and, you know, I see my family that came and my friends, and if fans want to say hello and take a picture, you know. But like, I think the main thing here is just be like, just honestly, just be nice. Like, there's no need to be an ass. Like, treat everyone equally. And I even think like one thing, if you're dealing with people with a mental disability of some sort, not saying don't treat them but treat them like you would anybody else, because sometimes
100%.
treating them with, like, you know, they have a disability, it kind of it defeats the purpose. Like you make, like, I don't know how to put words to this, but you know, like you're a bit extra nicer and you're a little bit like it can make them feel uncomfortable because like, just treat them like everybody else, you know, and just be nice to everyone. And then you don't have a problem, you know, that's.
What if you just, what if you just a cunt to them, like, and just be a prick to everybody? And then like, no one can say, well, you know, no one can say that you're like, you know, pointing people out. So you just walk in, people go, good morning, fuck off.
Well, that raises a good point, Piers. Like, because you and I, like, we play like heel characters, you know. You know, I don't like going out much after a show.
For real, don't patronize. Don't patronize. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Patronize. Thank you. Yes, that's the word I was looking for. Thank you very much. But the point, like, do you want to keep kayfabe? So, like, I don't even really want to go out and talk to fans because I don't want to break character. Like what I do in the ring is there to leave you with an emotion of, I hate this guy, I want to spit on him, you know, I hope he dies. And then you come out and you're like, oh, hi, thanks for coming, you know, really appreciate it. Let me take a picture. Like, you've killed it.
Yeah.
You know,
well,
like,
yeah. And that's enough. But that's enough. You doing your job and giving these people this imagination of the whole idea, like, and, you know, doing your role, that is enough. But the rest is just like sort of extra work. And, you know, sometimes, you know, you can get too close to fans as well. And that's something that I've learned over time, you know, like, in some ways, like, and, you know, then some fans have become friends, you know, it just depends on the boundaries and stuff and what you set for yourself. I guess that's been sort of one of my learning lessons, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess.
I mean, like, there's, I think that's like just with anybody. I mean, like, you meet people in life, and sometimes you just need to, you know, check them or put them, like, those boundaries up, and then basically explain those boundaries or put those boundaries in place.
Yeah, it's definitely, like, I've had incidents, altercations with fans where, like, man, like, too far. And that's not just males, that's just like females too. Like, sometimes it's a bit, you guys cross the line a bit, but yeah,
dude,
tell us your worst one.
I had a fan try and fight me at one show.
I've been there.
With you. No, dude, no. This is when I was a ring announcer.
Oh, you're on your own, buddy.
Dude, you would, like, no, because what happened was we're at a show and it was like the day before we went into the second lockdown. You know, that fucking 5-month one, right? Or 5 or 6 months. So, after the show, I go backstage and then, like, some woman puts her kids up on the ring and the photographer goes, hey, Tyler's like, hey, probably not the best to have your kids up on the ring. Like, we're about to go into lockdown, pandemic, etc., etc. The mother starts fucking abusing and yelling and screaming at the photographer. The promoter goes, hey, Piers, I need you to go out there and deal with this. And I just walk out there. I'm like, hey, guys, blah, blah, blah. I'm trying to be all diplomatic and nice. Look, I'm apologizing. They're like, we paid our money for our tickets. I said, yes, you paid to see a wrestling show, which you got to see. Now it's time for you to leave. Thank you very much. Like, you don't come to a play and get to go up on stage or, you know, etc. And next thing you know, her husband goes, you're a fuckwit, bud. How about you go outside and fucking fight? I'm going, bro, 1 second. Are those your kids? Yeah, what about it, fuckhead? Don't point at my kids. You want to fight me outside in front of your kids, and you don't even know who I am or what I'm capable of. Not saying I'm a bad motherfucker or anything like that, but, like, this guy just, like, taking, like, I don't know who this guy is. He could be a fucking world beater, bro, of a fighter. But, like, I'm not going to sit there with my kids, call out some random dude, even if I know I can kick the shit out of him. Like, what's that going to fucking prove to my kids, bro, that I'm a fucking guy? Or, like, I'm going to go outside and get my ass kicked in front of my kids? Like, what the, like, I just went, he's like, yeah, come outside. I said, okay, I'll see you outside. And I went and sat backstage. I just told the promoter, your turn. You go deal with it, homie. Because I'm like, I'm not fighting someone.
It's not worth it, man.
Didn't something similar happen to, like, Kid Valiant recently as well? Something like that?
Oh, that was that was at the show that Vinny won the title at.
Yeah.
FWA.
Oh, dude, I was in the car on the way home by intermission, bro. I wasn't there for that.
Dude, but you know what? Like, that was like, I wasn't there, but I got told what happened, and I saw the footage, and I spoke to, you know, people involved and shit, and that was wild. Like, I heard they actually fucking sneaked him out of the venue in the production truck.
I like kids, so they're lucky that I wasn't there because it would have
Bro,
put my foot in their ass.
could you imagine? Well, dude, that was the night I was at Impact. Could you imagine if me, you, well, Cam was there? So I'm surprised. Like, Cam's a big motherfucker, and he's an actual badass too. Like, he can fucking go.
Yeah,
I
he
think that
did
depends what
jiu-jitsu
day.
in Brazil, right? He went to Brazil and did the whole jiu-jitsu thing.
I think he's like I think he's a purple belt, but he's also done like combat sports for years. Like, he's
He's a fucking cool guy, man. He's a fucking cool guy.
Yeah, I like Cam. He's good value.
Yeah, it's like like with these like things like with you're always gonna have fucking some fans that just like Kingdom the other day, like Joey, he's still fresh in. Like Joey's one of the rookies that I'm close mates with, and he had a match with Tyler Gunn and Randy Red Dragon and Falco. And they go for a double suplex, right? So they get up this point to a double suplex, and Joey is a big guy. Like, you've seen Joey, he's like 130, 140. I don't know. Anyway,
Hey, don't put his business out.
Sorry.
Don't weight shame him.
He's 95. So this drunk fan jumps in the ring as they're doing a double suplex, right? The fan slides into the ring and takes Falco's legs out. As he's coming down. Fucked. Oh. And I just said, Joey, before the match, I was like, Joey, look at your first triple threat. Go out there, just like feel it. Just, like listen to the vets that are going to guide you. And I'm like, nothing can go wrong.
And nothing can go wrong.
That's a scary situation to be in, but because like you don't know if they got something on them or like what do you do, like but at the same time you don't want to get a lawsuit either.
Well, hang on a second, bro. You go and jump in the ring.
Oh,
Sorry,
no,
man.
I'm not disagreeing.
If you're a fan and you jump the ring or you put your hands on someone working on a show, you're gonna get belted. Like that's the I mean, like I think you don't do that shit, bro. Fuck that. Nah. Like I think fans should be able to yell, scream, say what they want, chant what they want. But like, just don't fucking put your I mean, within reason, bro. Like, you don't need to be a hateful motherfucker and yell out stupid shit. But like, you don't just don't put your hands on fucking the people putting on a show for you. Simple as that.
It could have been another Benny the Back Rower, man. It really could have. Like, that's the unfortunate thing.
Well, dude, you know what? Like, I saw an interview with Marilyn Manson years ago, and he turned around and said, like, they said, do you like fans try and jump up on stage, like, do you ever get scared? He goes, no, because I'll beat their fucking ass. He goes, this stage is my place of business. If you try and fuck with my business, I'm going to knock your ass the fuck out. And there's footage of him just like straight stomping some dude with these big fucking goth boots in the face. It was fucking wild, or like swinging a fucking mic stick.
But then why don't we have security? Like, this is where, as a business, you need to, this is what you need. You can't, like, as a business, this is one of those mandatory investments. Like, you need at least one guy at a minimum around there you go. One guy around the ring that's, like watching the fucking thing so no one jumps in and gets out of hand, because it's dangerous for everybody. But like, this is where you separate the good from the bad. Like some of the shows that have security, like the last, EWA show we did, I know they had security because like my wife and kid, like I told them to come like after my match, like my daughter wanted to see me and like I had to like get them past security. So I'm not letting them in. I'm like, dickhead, I was just in there, like move, but like it's good. Like, it's not a bad thing. Like it's a good thing actually, because like at least we're making sure we're keeping, fans out and safe. So it is a good thing. Like, I think that needs to be like a mandatory moving forward. Like if I was a venue, I'd be like, where's security? Like, you got to have that booked.
Yeah. Especially some wrestling invites people to get physical. Some people, like, I mean, it shouldn't, but I mean, at the end of the day, people see combat and they're like, yeah.
Not that, but I'm an antagonist. Like when I go out there, I need to invoke a reaction, and I will, people can question my methodology, but I will pick on the crowd at times. Like I've had people trying to jump the barricade before, but I'm like, yeah, do it. Like, come, like be my fucking guest, come. Like I'm itching for you to jump that barricade. But
the best insult I've ever thrown at someone is like when I was outside managing you and someone goes, "Hey, Piers, you suck." And I turned around and I go, "Oh yeah, I bet your mother wish she did now." And I just walked off, and I turned back and I watched him, and you see him going, "Hey."
Yeah, hard. No, but you got to be careful because, like you said, it incites a reaction. Like, if you say the wrong thing to the wrong person, like it's gonna get physical pretty quick. So you do need those people in place. Like I've even seen it at, like when I was younger at like WWE live events. Like they're showing my age now. I went to like WCW when I was like 12 when they came here, and I remember some guy spat on Goldberg, and like I remember my uncle. This motherfucker's gonna get fucking killed, and like. You could tell that he wasn't happy. Like he would have been. He got spat on. Like like it's just so dumb.
Like especially with beers too. Beers involved, like alcohol. Like that's fuck, and that's another level. Yeah,
but that's the thing when people get liquid courage. Like even back in the comment section, someone said like that happened at the Impact show. That was the night too that I was on. Like after the show, like I'm just walking around like doing whatever, and then. Like next, this guy just fucking jumps up and jumps in the middle of the ring, and I'm like, whoa! And this guy was a fucking unit too. He was a big boy, and there's I think the MCW boys have like gone in there and they're like trying to take him down. I'm like trying to grab. I run over and try and grab a leg, and I'm like, I'm in a really nice suit, and I really don't want to tear this shit. So I hope this fuckwit doesn't fuck my suit up here.
Yeah,
but but they got him out there, and it was just like. I don't know, man. I think for the most part, like in that case, if there's no match going on, like it's never okay. Like you don't belong. It's not the place, but like I think sometimes people see it, and like when they have a few drinks in them, they're feeling a bit frisky. They're getting into the moment. They're getting all that. Oh, I'm getting worked up. I'm getting. I want to get in there and just do one of these. You know what I mean? And then they're not thinking logically. So
nah.
Well, especially with like if you don't have a barricade there either, that's another issue. Like I know like a lot of people like don't want to go the extra mile for barricades, but barricades are very important.
You need them.
I know a good ring hire guy that could probably help out with that. But the thing is, with the barricades, it's actually it's a mental barrier too. You look at it and go, okay, I'm not meant to be past this point. Whereas like when I was booking those Yo Loco shows and then we didn't have the barricades, oh my god, those Penrith kids are fucking nuts.
Yeah.
Like the biggest rat bags you ever seen. They're running in the ring, and then even Zuko and Jordan Zuko and Kasai were having a match, and a kid jumps in the ring mid spot, and Zuko picks him up and tilt-a-whirls him and puts him down and puts him out of the ring. But imagine if you had someone who was a less experienced worker.
Well, it was actually, I think it was a tag match, and it was like I remember it being busy because it was like this kid just ran in the ring, and I'm like, holy fuck, this kid! And I'm like, he's like 3 or 4 years old, and he was the cutest thing, but man, this kid was quick, bro. Like,
I know. Yeah,
I actually think he brought a chair with him. Like he ran over, he was planned out, bro. He brought a chair with him, and I don't know why I wasn't quick enough to stop, but like he was that quick. He brought the chair over, jumped up, and just slid in the ring. And then like Zuko was like, boof, boof, turns around, and you just see Zuko, and he was wearing like this fucking crazy clown gimmick shit mask. And he's like, what the fuck? Like, and he's like turning around seeing this kid, and he's like, oh, no, he wasn't wearing a mask, right? He's picked up this kid, done the tilt-a-whirl, handed him over the top rope to me.
Oh.
And this kid's just gone running back to his mum, and the mum and dad are just sitting there, margaritas in hand, going, oh yeah, he's having fun.
Wow. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Those shows were wild, but like, I mean, in certain cases, you just need to have like, I don't know, back maybe like 10, 15 years ago, like it wasn't a thing. Like I think maybe this sounds terrible, but maybe it has something to do with the refs. Like the wrestlers, they're noticeably not tough now. Like I don't want to sound like a dick, but a lot of wrestlers noticeably aren't tough now. Back in the day,
I say that all the time, bro.
Yeah.
We're talking on the local scene, right? Like we're talking the
on the local scene, local scene, even on the higher scene. Like, but like still there's people that slip in and stuff. But like, man, like you see back in the day, like the wrestlers were like attractions, and like it was like, you'd have like a 7-foot tall guy in there, and like it didn't really matter how clean your spots were and how like crazy it was. Like you watch old ECW and it was so messy, bro, but it was violent, and like you were like, I don't want to fuck with these people. You know what I mean?
But if you look at old ECW though, they were bringing in guys that were a lot smaller as well though. Like you look at Psychosis, Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio without a mask back then looked like a fucking 12-year-old child when he was like 21, 22. You know what I mean? So I feel like there is a place for that in wrestling. There definitely is a place for that, because you need underdogs. You need a small, slimy, cocky little fucking heel that you just want to see get the shit kicked out of him, right?
So Vinnie Vane, nice to meet you.
I feel like there is a place for that. But also, like on every show, I don't know. But then again, a promoter has to look at who he has available to him and go, what do I do?
Work with what you got.
Well, that's 100%. That's why I try and hand it to my own ass every day, because I know I just don't look the best. And like there's times when I look at like the physical side of things, and then everything else. We need to be aspiring, like we have those ideas of grandeur. We need to be aspiring to be the fucking best shape we possibly can, so we don't look like every other person. So when we walk into a bar, they're like, those are the wrestlers. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. I think, look, I'm on the smaller, like you can criticize your body all you want. Like we're all different. Like I will probably get done for being way undersized, which is fair point. But I think we do have to like strive to at least like look some sort of physically dominating. I agree, because I look at a lot of people on the scene and I think, man, like, like I'm not fat shaming or weight shaming anyone. Like I'm on the other end of the spectrum where I'm too skinny. So I'm not even in the happy medium, but there's not enough emphasis on body. Like even, I'm going to go there, like even hygiene and cleanliness. Like you look at some people and what their gimmicks are, and then it's like, bro, like shave, put some deodorant on, like we're the word, like again, professional, like be a professional. Like if your character calls for, you're going to show some body, like at least like be a spectacle. Like you can't have guys coming in all the time with like the like, this isn't ripping on anyone, but like, the guys that they're trying to be a wrestler, but they got the Kevin Owens look, with the shorts and the singlet. Like it's okay, yes, but you can't have a whole roster of guys wearing that. You know what I mean? Like,
but also the difference is, it's okay if you can look like Kevin Owens. It's okay if you dress like Kevin Owens, right? But you better as hell be able to fucking entertain and work like Kevin Owens.
Yeah,
Kevin Owens
but you can't.
I think is one of the top tier performers in WWE, and I have thought that for years, because I think he is really fucking good, despite, you know what I mean, like what he can do as his body shape and size, he kills it. And you know what I mean, not everyone is going to have that it factor, that moment to be able to snap people into it, and that's okay as well. You know what I mean?
That's okay, but you can't have a whole roster of the same guy. And I think that there's more of a propensity for most people. This isn't a dig on Kevin Owens. Like I'm not even on a fraction of the guy's level, so I'm not talking out of school. Like it's like, but like there needs to be more emphasis on body. Do you know what I mean? Like let's be real. Who really in the country looks like a pro wrestler? Like Lee Moreau?
Well,
amazing.
That's a great example there.
Like,
Zuzu the muscle clown looks the fucking part.
He looks great,
Jesus
like, and I'm not saying everyone needs to be muscular and jacked, but like at the same time, you want to be like, what separates us from the audience that are watching us? Like to your point, Akell, this is where people get beer muscles. Like even in my case, where look at this little shit on the microphone fucking calling me out. Like I'll bash him. Like it doesn't help that I'm 70 kilos ringing wet. You know what I mean? Yeah. But like if I was like 95 and jacked, no one's gonna fuck with me. But that's what, like, this is where again we've got to make it that premium level. We can't, like, people need to be more accountable with their body, and like promoters, like we need to stop putting on, like, I don't know the answer, but I'm just saying, like, I think bodies need to definitely improve on the scene here.
Like it's okay, but for you in your situation, like you're like, sure, we say 70 kilos, but you got the abs popping sometimes, and you got like the fucking chest. You look fucking like you're there, like you got something, and then you work in a way which is like fuck, like I wouldn't be able to do that. Maybe I wouldn't be able to. The last thing we want is fans thinking that like they can do this. Like that's of my opinion.
That's exactly right.
I'm of that mentality now, because what is the attraction if they're coming to see just regular people in the ring? And that's my mindset now. Like I literally right now, like I'm taking a break from shows. I'm not doing shows, and all I want to do is basically just go and train all the time and get to a point where I want to look like no one else could do that. I want to look like a wrestler. Like, that's my opinion. Like, I fuck the shows. Like, I've done enough shows. I've tried to work like last year. I fucking worked probably like fucking 50 something matches, and like, sure.
Bro,
To my benefit,
I've never
that was
done
like,
that in my life.
but like, it was a fucking hassle. It was like tours and everything else. You add it all up, but like, at the end of the day, to me, I was like, look, my goal was to work every single fucking show I could. Now my goal is to. Oh, Piers is gone. He'll be back. Now my goal, man, is to basically like be the person who's at training the most.
Well, you put in effort. Like when I was training with you and we were going solid for a couple months there, like you're very hard, like very good, very committed, very dedicated. You'll get there. And like, if I can give you one piece of advice, man, like just stay consistent. Like stay consistent with what you're doing in ring. Stay consistent with you're obviously working out, like, but like one thing I think is where it gets out of hand with a lot of people is like what you're putting in your mouth. Like if you can get the discipline right in the kitchen, it's going to pay dividends for you. Like not that I'm a nutrition expert or anything. We're just talking from my own experiences. Like I found if I could get the kitchen right, the gym and the finished product became so much easier.
100%. And that's like,
say abs are built in the kitchen, not in the gym.
Yeah. And then the thing with that is also like, when you do so many shows and you're on the road, you're like Friday to not on the road, but like you're driving to Maitland, you're driving to Port Macquarie, you're driving to wherever, you're sort of like, I'll stop at Macca's because I didn't have time to prepare my meals and, like shit like that. And I'm like, what the fuck's the point? Why am I doing this?
You can still eat healthy relatively at Macca's. Like order a garden salad, like instead of like the fries, like get a grilled chicken burger or a fillet of fish. Like I get it. It's hard. I get it, man. And temptation's the hard part. But, like there's always ways around it. Bronson Reed, Grayson Waller, and Duke Hudson, 3 guys with it. Yeah,
I'd agree.
Great workers, great workers, man. And like it's great to see that 2 of those guys are Australian. Like I know that they, like I've never met Bronson Reed. Oh, are they? Sorry, I'm really not across. But great talents, man.
Bronson Reed is probably one of my favorites. I saw like a while ago. You see like the old IWA shows, and I was like, "Fuck, man, he's so fucking menacing." You know what I mean? Like
the big boy from what I've seen on TV. Like I never met the guy, to be fair, but he's a unit, man.
Yeah. But that's the mentality. I don't know. Like, tell me if I'm wrong, but to me, it's like, what the fuck is? And this is what something Kasai has drilled into me, bro. He's like, what the fuck is the point of working these shows? Like, what do you get out of it? You go and like, are you going to learn in the ring? Like, yeah, you learn a little bit in psychology and stuff and everything else. And there's pointers of how I can change the crowd this way. But like, fucking is if you can't get that once a month and save your fucking bump card. Like I've seriously fucked up. Like I'm such an idiot.
No,
sorry.
Look, I don't. No, look, you have your reasons. Like I think, if I can be honest with you, one of my my biggest regrets, Akell, is that I didn't do that a lot more when I had the capacity when I started out, because I made a lot of mistakes in my career when I started out, man. When I had the time and the resources, and resource being my most, like time being my most valuable resource. I didn't get out there and push myself. I stayed with one company, and it's my biggest regret, because I really think if I did that, I really think I'd be on a different level. But it's credit to you. Like, and you know what? Like everyone's path is different, so just keep doing what you're doing. Like it's an experience nonetheless. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, take from it, bro.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I appreciate it. I got to just, tone it back now and just think about more things about how to make it valuable and stuff, and then getting ready to go overseas and train and stuff, and just fucking, put more time into actually my body and more the cosmetic side of things as well, and getting it right, and, being a bit lighter so I can get up for those fucking hip tosses. Way better. So.
Yeah, man. So,
and to that comment, Matt, he's right. You can't get reps in front of a crowd, because like in front of a crowd, you like it's make or break. You don't have time to let me reset it and do it again. Like it's hard.
Do you know what's interesting, right? Like I want to throw like something out to you. So I did a podcast the other week with someone, right?
Mm.
And like, fuck it, I'll say who it is. It was Ryan Eagles. And during the podcast, I got a message from someone, and it was like a photo saying, "Who the fuck is that guy?" Like the Conor McGregor, like get like
Yeah.
meme. And it was
Yeah.
like when I see him talking about PWA, and my response was, "Okay, well, do you not know who Ryan Eagles is?" He's like, "Oh, no. I'm just saying, like, it's funny how long it's been, and like blah blah blah. It just seems like so long ago. That's what I meant." And I'm like, "Okay," like it just seemed very, I don't know, man. Like,
Bitchy.
yeah, bro. Like, is it like
Yeah.
like I don't know, like they didn't get the response they wanted. Like,
Uh,
and the person I'm cool with, and I have a lot of love for, like for real, bro. Like, but like I was just like, I don't know, like was that necessary?
you can't rewrite history, and what that guy's done for Australian wrestling is ridiculous. Like what that guy's done for me in a smaller sense is ridiculous. Like I know, like when I was 14, I trained at like a karate gym with him in Hoxton Park, and he was the one sort of first, like one of the first guys to show me like how to like do different things, and it's really cool between him and Greg. But like he's the man. He's the man.
I agree. I got a lot of time for him, like personally, like outside of the like
Yeah.
wrestling talk. I have a lot of time for Ryan. Look, at the end of the day, like I was never in PWA to really get it all or understand it all. I've never really been a part of it. But from what I understand, like he did help, like he contributed substantially. I'm gonna say it's all him. Obviously,
No,
I believe his former like ex-wife was part of it. I don't know the full story. Correct me if I'm wrong, anyone. But
Madison, yeah, she was a big part of it too.
but like you can't discredit. Like I think it is safe to say there wouldn't be a PWA, or dare I say a presence of wrestling in Sydney and New South Wales and Australia without Ryan Eagles. I've wrestled him once. It's actually one of my more fond like better matches that I remember. Like I had fun doing it. Guy beat the shit out of me, but we had a good time, and I enjoyed working with him. And I think more people need to listen to him when he talks, because he's got a good brain. He's reasonable, and he's a bit of a funny fucker to go with it, which makes working with him a little bit more fun.
Man, like to pull back the curtain as well. Like, I mean, when I was running that Yo Logo thing with Mickey Vendetta, and we had no clue what we were doing. We sort of winging it. We had a bit of an idea. We were putting some stuff together. It was going well. He was the one. He put his hand up and said, "I'll come help you with this, boys." Fucking nuts. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just to do that for his own time, drive up from fucking
wherever
he is. Yeah.
I'm sad to see that he doesn't get booked as much as I think he would be available, because I think he's an asset, and I think anyone like even have him on the payroll just to let him like talk and teach everyone around him something. He's just one of those guys that's got a beautiful mind for it and gets it. I don't know why he's not utilized more, whether it's his availability, I don't know, or maybe he is and he's turning them down because of his availability. I don't know, but what I'm saying is I'd like to see him more prevalent on the scene, because I think he's an amazing talent.
Yeah, there's a lot of flavor of the month bookers out there too that'll go, this is the next thing.
Yeah,
People are liking this, and then they'll book a show and they'll do everything, but they forget the foundations and their internal roster and what they have. And having a guy like that on your show to sort of teach and help people, if he's keen to do it, I mean, it'd be good. He did one seminar with the AWS at the Moorebank School, and I just learned some cool stuff, and I chuck some of that stuff in my matches. Usually, most of the times, one of my go-to things is something that he taught me, just 2 hours on a Sunday. So
yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, like I know he lives far, but even if you could get up here and do a few more seminars, like even like a guest coaching spot, like one night, I don't care where it is. Like I'd go. I'd pay my money and I'd go because I know he'd have a lot to offer.
100%. But like, do you feel like in the most part, like he's not like? Do you feel like people don't give him the respect he deserves?
Not now, no, definitely not. I think you
Who's
should get
people?
way more.
Like I'm
Who's
just saying,
people? Yeah,
I'm saying, like, do you think the scene in general is not giving him the respect he deserves?
I think he deserves way more. Like, I think he deserves way more credit than he's due. I think he Yeah, I think to me, a guy like that's fucking, like valuable, and sort of the way he wrestles is also kind of timeless. Like if you look at the way a lot of his stuff is, it's like Hunter said before, like that really stuck with me when you were talking about the other thing, and he was talking to Lee Morrow, and he was saying that like it's the bread and butter style, like the style that's never broken, and I think he's one of those guys that sort of wrestles like that too.
Yeah, for real. No, I definitely agree, and I think that's where that, like you said, that bread and butter style, which is like doesn't necessarily have to be so overly complicated either.
Mm-hmm. And get the most out of everything and save your body.
Yeah, for real.
Like
For real.
Gibbs just went out and essentially for the better half of like the last thing we did, like it was like my first singles main event, and he went out and just beat the crap out of me, and I just beat him back, and I just looked real raw, real gritty, but no one really took too many bumps. So,
but Gibbs is also one of the smart brains that's probably undercredited on the scene. I've had, like, to be fair, I know he came up to me at one EWA show and was giving me and Scotty some advice on our match, which we didn't take at the time, which I'm going to admit that. But he said, this is what's going to happen if you don't do this. And to his credit, he did. And I apologized to him. I said, yeah, you were right. But Gibbs that's my ego. That's a different story. But Gibbs
that's a whole nother podcast, brother.
Yeah, that's a whole nother session. But I think Gibbs is someone that probably needs to speak more, and everyone needs to shut up and listen when he speaks. To be fair.
100%, and I think it's also like it's the same thing with, like, again, you got like at that AWS school, you got like Gibbs and Kasai and Sorbet, and with credit to like Gibbs and Kasai, like Gibbs came on this podcast and said some things, and people took it the wrong way, and the social justice sort of brigade sort of bring the hammer down on him, and he got unbooked from wherever or whatever. But at the end of the day, like, if we can look at like these things aside and look at what's going to be the best value for your show, like, geez, like I think him and definitely Kasai are like top dollar. You know what I mean? They've changed the whole way I work, and I'm never gonna be able to pay that back. Like, I'm forever indebted, really.
Look, I spent a lot of time,
and Sorbet too. Sorbet,
yeah, Sorbet is good. I spent a lot of time with Kasai, as you know, this year. Like, I've changed my training and did a lot of stuff with him, and I feel he's taken my game like to a whole new level. Again, another guy that, like, I know he gets a bit of a bad rub because I think he's misunderstood, if anything. Like, he's misinterpreted, but man, he's got a brain for this. Yeah, Kasai.
Oh, Kasai is like the fucking Rain Man shit.
Yeah,
like,
man.
Honestly,
yeah, he is. Rain Man's a good example. Like,
yeah, like, not like insulting anyone, but he's just so fucking intelligent with this shit.
But he's smart. Like, I know that he agented the match Scotty and I had at EWA, and he put all that together. That was all him. And I know it got a bit of a bad rub, but I feel it got a bad rub because it didn't have 2 450 splashes and 5 Canadian destroyers and all this bullshit. But it was textbook. And I think traditionalists and people that get pro wrestling from a traditional standpoint would have said that's a decent match. But the modern fan would be like, this is boring. Why? Yeah. Because we didn't do all the fancy shit. That's what I like about Kasai. Like, save your bump card. What he teaches you is do something and make sure it means something. Don't just do it for the sake of doing it. Where I feel a lot of wrestling today is just doing fancy shit just to get that pop. But then, their opponent gets up like nothing happened, and it means nothing.
But that's the thing. I think everyone is working for that "this is awesome" chant. This is awesome chant. And it's like the same thing when, like, when I see a company that has the fans chanting the promotion's initials, and this is another way to look at that as well. That tells me that the company is more over than any of the workers.
Yeah. Yeah.
No one's a draw. The company is a draw at best.
Yeah, but then you look at WWE, which people could say the company is the draw. They're the spectacle, right?
Yeah.
Sure not.
Yeah.
There's no, like, when do you ever hear in a WWE show them going WWE? Raw,
Yeah,
Raw,
yeah.
SmackDown.
You don't.
Maybe in NXT because it's more of an intimate, smaller stage. But like, you don't. You know what I mean? Because they get their talent over.
But see,
And it's like on an independent level, like from like around the world, how many performers are actually over?
But see, think about this, right? This is where the fucking marks have ruined it. This is where the fucking marks have completely fucking ruined it. People like fucking Dave Meltzer and all those fucking cunts that give the fucking star ratings and shit and tell you how clean the fucking wrestling is when they haven't taken a bump. The problem is like fucking a lot of people, right? So I watched a match, Sabu vs. Sandman. It was messy. It was violent. It was nuts. Meltzer rated it -3 stars. At the end of the day, it was one of the most entertaining things I've ever seen. How clean was Hulk Hogan in the ring? The star rating should be based on how much fucking money you draw. If this is a business, if you want to be insider and talk about how you review the events, then yeah, sure, the Ultimate Warrior wasn't a great wrestler, but fucking oath did he sell merch.
Yeah, but even to your point there, Akell, look at the what is it, the PWI rankings or something. Like you look who makes that list, and it's like, what the hell? Like I made it, like, when they were doing the Aussie one, I landed on that 1 month, and I was like, how the fuck did I end up on this? Like I don't get it. Like, like this is the problem with pro. Like don't get me wrong, it was cool. I was like, hey, I'm on a list. Like I was so excited, it's mad. But my point is like whatever. But my point is like, it's not like boxing or MMA, where it's like, if I beat you, I'm better than you, I climb higher. Like wrestling is subjective, and there's a few, as I say, gatekeepers that they decide your fate. Like they determine whether you're good, bad, or indifferent, and some of them don't know fuck all about.
None, fucking nothing.
But let's take it back. We talk. You mentioned Dave Meltzer giving star ratings and giving this ECW match -3, but you think it was different. Wrestling is so fucking subjective, and the fact is, these fucking other wrestling fans who buy into the fucking bullshit that Dave Meltzer fucking puts out and fucking spews out, you're listening to this guy's opinion, but who the fuck is Dave Meltzer? He wrote about wrestling. Cool. He's a fucking mark with a fucking laptop, bro. Like that.
Well, sorry, I actually don't know. I've heard the name, but like, I'm not really into it. Like, who's Dave Meltzer?
Bro, like him.
Good place to be.
Yeah, bro. But the thing is, like, people in power give this guy false information and he goes to report him.
So Dave Meltzer's a wrestling journalist. He's been doing it for about 40 years. His whole life on it. And he does this thing. So he reviews all the shows, does everything. He has a lot of insider scoops and stuff. He knows a lot of contacts in WWE and all the big companies. But the thing with him was he used to give these star ratings, which it was like the universal wresling guide.
Is this where that joke, the Tokyo Dome thing, comes into play? So
yeah.
Okay, I know what we're talking about now. Yeah.
So it's just dumb, because it's like, okay, sure, because of how unclean that match looked, you gave it a 2-star rating. But how much did the fucking crowd pop? Were there 80,000 fucking people in the crowd? Okay,
did it make money?
Did it make money? That's what we fucking should be considering.
Yeah, but they don't, bro, because it's like, how many Canadian destroyers, super kicks, and fucking like Meltzer drivers did they have on the show? You know what I mean? Like, bro, he's a fucking Meltzer is an AEW guy, whatever, because he's in their pocket, bro. Like people fucking brag about Tony Khan being Booker of the fucking year because Dave Meltzer said so.
Yeah.
Like, who's working who here?
Well, this is where
Tony Khan's bragging about it. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Well, I might be sounding like a Gibbs sounding board here, but this is what he told me. It's like, okay, are we simulating fighting? Yes. Okay, if we're simulating fighting, then have you ever seen a fucking fight that looked really clean? It's fucking ridiculous. Like, we shouldn't be fucking trying to look clean. We should be trying to simulate fighting. At the same time, high spot's great. Athleticism great where it comes into it. But at the end of the day, you need to have someone getting their ass kicked and someone fucking caring. You know what I mean? You need to have someone getting their ass kicked and someone caring because they're getting their ass kicked, and someone telling people off. And then however good they tell people off, it's good. I know people in the scene that don't get the credit they deserve because they get a reaction every time because they just talk. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So important. Well, you definitely know. You're fucking great at it.
No, I'm not great at it, but I get what you're saying. I know what you mean. I think there's a lot of, I've said it before, there's a lot of, not to say that the people that get credit on the Aussie scene don't deserve it. Yes, some of them they do. Yeah. But there's so many other talent that don't get credit when I think, man, they are so good in their own right. Like, I look at things in them and I'm like, bro, that's amazing. Like, they just need the platform, or they need the time to invest more in it. And I think that they can be great. Like I've said it before, I've put over DJ Sonic 10 times over. I think he's great. I think I'm not talking about guys who aren't like not established, like your Zuko's, your Gibbs, your Ryan Eagles, the guys that are like, they're not there, but like Chris Abbott, another guy, Jordan Kasai, like he's next level. Even Scotty Paulo to a degree, like underrated, underutilized, like
he's the one guy that does draw in fucking wrestling.
100%, man. Yeah, he draws 100%.
Hey, all the Usos roll out for Scotty, bro. Like straight up.
Yeah, man. Man. But that's something as well. Like as a business, doesn't anyone look at that and be like, this guy can make us money? Like why isn't he being used? Why isn't he being used?
They should. Yeah. It's like
so
the same thing about.
What I don't understand.
Yeah, it's the same thing about with Up in Kingdom is like something like a people like you think about like something like a Ferguson. Sure, he might be not running all the high spots, but at the end of the day, he's in Club Maitland City. He works in Club Maitland City, and he's one of those people that actually like gets 30 to 40 to 50 people to the show each time. So why the fuck wouldn't you put the belt on him? And why are you not putting the belt on Swooper? But whatever. Yeah. Anyway.
Well, Swooper's not even a worker, right?
No, I don't know how that works. He is, but I don't know. I don't know if he's had the like full training yet. I'm not sure.
He was in that High Voltage documentary. Sorry, not High Voltage. Sorry, High Octane. The High Octane. He was like a local hero. He was a draw in ICW Central West. Like out in the country where there's wrestling out going on there as well.
Here in Australia.
Yeah, here in Australia, yeah, West New South Wales. It was ICW Central West.
I'm not being rude.
I don't know who that is.
I don't follow it. Like I'm being.
Yeah. Yeah, High Octane's kind of like one of those Birdman characters. Like he's got that incredible like presence and like just a like personality that's out there. Like
anyway, dude, like fuck, man. Well, dude, you mentioned Bird. I'm so disappointed about last week, bro. Like, honestly, I could have cried. That episode was like,
What episode?
Yeah, I
was gonna have him and Zuzu on the podcast, and they were gonna settle their beef live on it.
Right? They got beef.
Yeah. They got big time beef, man.
I like we put it out there, and like Phil went out ballistic putting it on social media, and then the week of he pulled out. He just said, "Nope, not doing it." He pulled out first, and then he said, "Yeah, I'll do it." He said, "Yes, I'll do it." Then he pulled out. Then he said, "Yes, I'll do it again." Then he pulled out the week of, and I got no bad blood with either of them. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I think it could have been really good content, and I think it would have been good to see the two of them face off and have that conversation.
I didn't even know there was beef, but guys, like, I like both of them. So just sort your shit out, guys. Life's too short.
Yeah.
That's my advice.
Well, there were some comments made like that were.
I don't know the story. I don't know.
Yeah.
I
don't want to put it too out there because it's like
leave it. It's their business. Leave it. They're both grown-ass men. They can sort it out. It's all good.
Like Akell said Birdman, and it just sort of was like triggered me because it was like fuck the episode that got away. You know what I mean?
Some of those Birdman pods are like some of the favorite, like my favorite, like work of yours, easy because. He's just such an entertaining personality, and a lot of people will say, "Oh, whatever." Like, with these where you talk about they have Zuzu and Birdman on the show, and you go, "Oh, is this kind of like mediating? Is this kind of like what
antagonizing or whatever?"
Do we want to get the beef? Is that how you want to be the representation of wrestling? But then even the workers that'll say like, "Oh, it might not be the best," like they're secretly watching it, so it's like it makes sense.
Bro. All eyes on me, baby. That's how it goes, right?
But the thing is with you as well is like, like with this podcast now, like obviously you're branching out to other platforms. You got the combat sports, you're killing it in the combat sports world, you're killing it in the pro wrestling world, you're killing it in the podcast world. So to me, like my question is like, where do you think and what is next and what can like people get excited for? You know what I mean? Like, I'm loving this. Like I'm on a ride,
Yeah, man. Well, like we've been going for nearly 2 hours. So like, I'll put this out here and I'll just leave it out here. And then I think we'll probably wrap it up because I think it'll be the most thing. But what I've got planned is some fucking massive shit for 2024. What I've got planned for the rest of this year is going to be something like no one's ever fucking seen before. So I suggest everybody go and subscribe, follow me on social media, on Instagram at the Piers Austin or on Twitter at Piers Austin, and stay fucking glued because there's going to be shit dropping in the next couple weeks, which is going to explain all. And it's going to be fucking nuts. It's going to be wild, and it's going to be off the fucking chain, baby.
Whoa!
Man, bro.
Hell yeah.
Is
that the wrap?
School 101.
Are we wrapped? Are we done? Do we just see you? Like,
How far off are we off the 2-hour mark?
We got 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
No, we'll go 10 minutes. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Look,
I just felt like I really wrapped it up well there. But okay,
yeah. But dude, like that was.
Keep talking.
No, I seriously think his journey and doing all that is like really cool, and I think this podcast was Alcoholic Adam's excited. He's moist. Wow, that's.
I hate that word. Yuck.
What?
You know what word I hate worse than that? Discharge.
I love discharge. It's natural.
You sick fuck.
Like if you're like say like obviously you know okay, obviously you're both fucking married here, but like, you know, if a girl came and she's like, babe, I'm like really moist, like would that like turn you on, or would that be like a nah?
Off. It's a deal breaker. Get out.
Get out of my house.
Don't pass go. Don't collect $200. Just get the fuck out.
I
Go.
rate.
Oh, man. Look, I'm happily. Well, I'm married. You know, like, yeah, bro. I don't know, bro. Fuck. I never put that shit fucking into too much thought, bro. But now you got me.
Yeah, I don't want to get cancelled here, man. I don't want to. You know, you can't say that. Like, fucking change the subject, bro. Like, seriously, I'm not getting cancelled for this.
We're all scared to get cancelled, but at the end of the day, if we
I don't give a
scared,
fuck
I
about
don't
getting
care.
cancelled. I don't give a fuck about getting cancelled, bro. What am I going to get cancelled from?
I just want to wake up tomorrow and drink my coffee. No dramas. Like, that's all. I don't want to read Twitter. Like, I can't be bothered, bro. Just leave me alone.
64 notifications fucking in the morning, all messenger. But
every time I do this show, it's like bang, 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 bang. Oh, you said this, you said that. So shut the fuck up, bro. Then if my mom sees it and you get a call from your mom, then you know you're really fucked up. You're in trouble now, man. So, mom, if you're watching, I love you. I'm sorry.
I love you too, Mrs. Vane.
I think I think it's like, you know, this is the issue that I have constantly is like people fucking make mistakes. And not only do you like live growing as a person, but you also talk growing as a person. So when you say something that might not be right, that doesn't mean you get thrown off the fucking face of the earth. It means people sort of go, oh, hey, maybe we could educate you on this. And if you disagree, then you disagree. But at the end of the day, we're all fucking growing. So to me, like my point, like the way I've fucking come to terms with it and the way I rationalize it is like, why be so scared or fearful of saying something why be so fearful of saying something if at the end of the day, like, you know, you're not living at all because you're not saying how you feel? Like, fuck that.
You raise a good point, bro. It's really, really a good point.
I don't know, man. Like, I feel like we're now in a world where, as you said, everyone is afraid to get cancelled. Everyone's afraid to give their own perspective and opinions on something in fear of getting cancelled. And I feel like who are these people following? You know what I mean? In what sense are these people following? But, you know, as I've said before, and we look at this, the people that are the most, you know, that try and put out there, they're the most progressive, they're the most whatever you want to call it. They're usually the one with the biggest fucking skeletons in the closet. They're the ones that do the most fucked up shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, let's be real. Because I don't know, maybe they do it to overly compensate. I don't know if they do it because like they feel guilt deep down for what they're doing or what they've done. But then you see them getting like nothing really happens to them. You know what I mean?
Well, they're
like,
masquerading the person that they are. They're trying to present themselves as a good person. And this is concept of it's an interesting concept of like social justice currency. It's like, I need to show
All right.
you that I'm a good person. So this gives me points because I talk about this. Would you rather fight one giraffe-sized duck or 100 duck-sized giraffe? I'd probably have to go with the duck-sized giraffes, man, because you'd be kicking necks and breaking necks all day.
I want to ask you something on that, like Akell, if you don't mind, like screw the
on
ducks for a
the
second.
giraffes or
No, the point you made. I'm gonna ask the both of you this question. What do you want your, like, when I say legacy, like, what do you want to be remembered as most when you're done with this business? Because like, I know when I'm finished, like I'm done. Like everyone's getting deleted off Facebook. Like I don't want to see you guys until the next life. But what do you want to be remembered for? Not even fucking sorry. It's literally how it's going to be.
Wow.
I'm no, bro. I'm when I finish here, like I'm done. Like I don't want to know anyone. I don't want to hear from anyone. Like I knew
Buy
you
a
in a
farm.
previous life. Yep, that's it. What are you going to be remembered as? Or for?
Piers?
You go first, bro.
Oh man. Well, for me, like I sort of want to be. I don't know. To me, it's kind of like getting. What about? It's kind of about getting over sort of. I mean, I sort of want to get over a few messages, but I want to sort of, maybe if I could take it to a bigger stage one day, it's delusions of grandeur, whatever you think. But like at the end of the day, if I could do that, I'd like to sort of, inspire people in some way to think about, what different people are going through, like mental health and also diseases and different things, and just about being there for one another and giving people these collective moments where you can have 80 people in a room, 100,000 people in a room, however many people it is in a room, and you can have them all like get up on their feet, and for that one moment in their life, they're fucking, everyone is together and everyone is fucking rejoicing. Whether I end up being a heel who's like, giving the babyface that moment, or the babyface who's getting that moment because a heel was so humble to give me that moment and do the business and everything else. That's sort of what it is. It's all about that collective moment that wrestling can give people, and for a second and a joy, they can be happy.
Sure.
What about you, Nath? Vinny?
No, you answer first.
No, you go first. I've got a good one too.
Honestly, I want to be remembered as like a good performer, like a solid performer. Like he was good, really that simple. And if anything outside of the ring, he was honest. Like no bullshit, no fucking like, how do I put it? Like just straight with you. Like you know where you stand with me. No bullshit. Whether that's good or bad. Like if some people are gonna say they love me, some people are gonna say they absolutely despised me. Either way, I'm still going to sleep at night, but at least you know where you stand. And I think there's I've always valued honesty. So that's what I'll be remembered for. But
that was the
asked
best
you
thing.
to.
That was the best thing, because we had that little squabble, and there's never really, every time someone's had a problem with me in wrestling, and I haven't been doing that long, I try not to create too many problems. I always hear it from someone else. But when, we had that little thing, which was nothing really in hindsight, and I probably got a bit out of my depth.
Honestly a gentlemanly conversation, to be completely fair.
But it was the confrontation that was like, holy shit, this fucking cunt's a real one. You know what I mean? He's fucking.
This cunt's a real one, mate.
This cunt's a real one, mate.
Dude, if I put it this way, if I don't respect you, I'm not gonna bother wasting my words on you. Like I'll be like, yeah, sure, man, no worries. Yeah, you're right, 100%. Have a nice day, have a nice life. Go fuck your mother. I don't care. Like I don't care. But if I have time for you and I respect you, then like I'm gonna have the chat with you and let's hash it out. And you know what? Like to your point, a disagreement sometimes are a good thing, because like Piers put it, I had to look at it from your point of view. And that's sometimes it's very hard in life to stop and get out of your own so stuck in your ways and actually look at it from someone else's perspective. That's where we grow. So confrontation is great. When I say confrontation, it doesn't need to be a negative connotation. It doesn't need to be violent. And there's nothing wrong with someone pulling you up and then, saying, you know what, bro, you were right. I was wrong. Sorry. I'm going to learn from this and do better. You know what I mean? That's how we're going to move forward as a humanity. You know what I mean? So confrontation, like it's not easy. Like no one's mastered it. But sometimes like calling people out, like, but call them out, like not on fucking Twitter, and do it man to man, woman to woman. You know what I mean? Like go and handle it.
Go and handle your business face to face, man. Yeah, I 100% agree with you.
Gents, I have to step off for a second. Give me 1 sec. I'll be right back.
No worries, bro.
Man. But I feel like for the most part, man, like, what I hope my legacy would be. if I'm being 100% real, is that I hope that I could be the person that is, you know what I mean, captivating, entertaining, a real one, someone who doesn't really fall in line just to be part of a clique or a crew or anything like that, but someone who speaks their mind, stands on their morals, and is loyal as fuck, as well as being a loving father, a loving husband. Yeah, man, that's kind of the way that I'd like to be remembered.
Yeah, 100%, man. And that's what the thing is. That's what, like, even with this thing with the podcast, it's like, you know, like, why fucking do the podcast if it wasn't that case? Like, why have a voice if you did that? You know what I mean? They always project onto others what they do. Yeah, 100%.
But the thing is, well, but just being real on that level with other people, man. And that's kind of like how I see it, where it's like, I am who I am. I'm going to be straight. I'm going to be real. But like I said, I hope that people can also remember my endearing qualities and stuff that I can also bring. So, you know what I mean? And also being the greatest podcaster of all time, as DJ Sonic is also, you know, putting out there as well. So,
and those that don't remember that, they don't deserve you, Piers. They don't deserve you. Looking after your old man. Oh, my dad's in the chat. Looking after your old man.
Hey, hi, Dad.
Hi, Dad. Well, you know what, man? We have been going on the 2-hour mark, and it is time to wrap it up. But I will say this: what I really, really want to be remembered for, and this is going to be what we end this show on. What I really want to be remembered for is a dude with a lot of money and a huge.